Hurricane Beryl has hit the Texas coast. It's affected Houston, Montgomery County, uh, Galveston. Every county in this area has been affected. Matagorda, Fort Bend, you name it. Acting Governor Dan Patrick has declared a disaster area of almost the entire southern Texas area. And so, what happens in criminal law in cases where a disaster declaration is in place? Well, Acting Governor Dan Patrick declared this disaster for these counties on July 6th of 2024, including Harris County. Can you still get arrested for criminal offenses during a disaster declaration? Yes, absolutely, you can. And in fact, it can increase the punishment range. Let's take a look. So, the punishment range for a disaster declaration enhancement is normally increased by one level, with a couple exceptions. But how do we know that a disaster declaration is in place? Do people just look outside and say, man, it's bad weather? All of a sudden, your punishment is increased? No. There has to be an official declaration. So, if it is under a state of disaster declared by the President of the United States, the Governor of Texas, or the presiding officer of a local governing body, like the county judge, or if the area is subject to an emergency evacuation order issued by the governing body of the state or political subdivision. So, like if you're in Galveston, a hurricane's coming and you're supposed to be evacuating, even though there's no disaster at the moment, sometimes looting can occur, sometimes burglary of vehicles. If people are evacuated, their homes are more likely to get burglarized during a storm. That can all happen, and so it increases the punishment range a single level. So if it's a state jail felony, it'll become a third degree. Third degree becomes second degree. Second degree becomes first degree. The most significant here is Class A misdemeanors become state jail felonies. So misdemeanor conduct will then get pushed up a level and become a felony offense. Now, this is only for certain types of crime. The first one is assault. Now, assaults go up a lot during disaster because people are confined in the home. A lot of times they don't have power, no air conditioning, things like that. It can make people very upset, and you'll see a huge spike in assault reports during a disaster declaration. Robbery, theft, burglary, criminal trespass, burglary of a vehicle, and burglary of a coin operated machine are all things that during a disaster will sometimes have an increase in their prevalence. And so, in order to try to tamp that down, to give the incentive to people to not commit these crimes, they're saying that it's going to be increased one level. If it used to be a misdemeanor, it may be a felony. If it's a lower level misdemeanor like a class B and it gets bumped to a class A, the minimum punishment on something like that is 180 days in jail.